How's it going, guys? Orsonite here, and today we're going to go over some Dragon Ball Fighterz. But before we get started, allow me to give a short introduction. My name is Ori, and I've been playing fighting games competitively for over 9 years now. I've always enjoyed picking up the latest titles and practicing in order to keep up with the rest of my locals. I've gone to countless tournaments in my day, and I've noticed a number of players struggle with these games. Whether they're the new players to the scene, or even the well-seasoned ones, there's always going to be a point where these players will reach where they can't quite seem to improve anymore. Which, believe me, it's not the best feeling. With this video series, I'm looking to help other players figure out what they need to improve on. I want to be able to share my knowledge of the game in order to give a good understanding of the tools that the game has to offer. So bear with me here. We'll be going over some pretty basic stuff, but we'll also delve into a few advanced tricks to help improve your game. So let's get started. So let's talk about the neutral game. You've probably heard other players talk about it and wondered to yourself, what the hell even is a neutral game? Well, the neutral game is one of the most important states in a fighting game. Neutral is where both you and your opponent are on equal playing fields. It's the moment you and an opponent start the round and you're both just standing still. Just like you see right here, this is neutral game. The moment a character is knocked out and the new one comes in, that's neutral game. I always see it as the moment when a player is thinking of their options on how to approach. Those options being the tools the game has to offer, whether it's your normals, specials, weak projectiles, strong projectiles, walking, dashing, jumping, super dashing, instant air dashing, dragon rush, reflect, guard cancel, or vanish. Wow, that's a mouthful. I had mentioned it in the intro that we'll be covering these tools. But for now, let's bullshit a little bit more on the neutral. In the neutral, if you're able to hit confirm or force the opponent into blocking, you are in advantage. If the opponent is able to do the same to you, you're in disadvantage, meaning that it is not your turn. One habit a lot of players like to do is press buttons, but why? If you're blocking or getting hit, what will that button do for you? Sometimes just blocking and doing nothing at all is the best option. Characters can have strong and weak points in neutral. Characters like Team Gohan and Beerus both struggle in the neutral. They have short range and access to only weak projectiles, making it pretty hard for them to contest against characters that have longer range and access to stronger projectiles in their kits. That being said, it doesn't mean that the characters are unplayable, but it means you have to be a little bit more creative on how you approach with these characters. Characters like Perfect Cell and Kid Buu both have an amazing neutral. Long-range normals, strong projectiles, and countless amounts of options in their kits to help open up an opponent. So we've discussed how the characters can have a good part in the neutral game. But it's not all about what the character is capable of doing, but more so what the player is capable of. Many players like to compare fighting games to chess, two players both strategically planning their next move in order to win the game. A lot like chess, people are capable of outplaying their opponent in these games. When you hear outplayed, it's usually referring back to neutral, where you either read or reacted to your opponent's option, whether it be offensive or defensive play. Being able to read or react to your opponent's options is a good start to a foundation for defensive play. But an option many players forget even exists is Reflect. Reflect has very good uses, but a lot like the rest of the tools in this game, it has its risks and rewards. It's a zero-frame startup, meaning you can use this in the middle of both blocking and wake up. But be careful on using it too much because it can be baited. So we've gone over a few defensive options in this game, but let's talk about the offense. In Dragon Ball Fighterz, when you are applying pressure on block, you will most likely end your pressure negative, meaning that it's not your turn anymore. If you try to press buttons anymore, and your opponent presses their fastest button, you will most likely lose in this situation. You may lose your turn after a basic block string like previously shown, but if you were to throw an assist at the end of the string, it will allow you to keep your advantage and continue to apply pressure. Another way to keep your advantage is to cancel into your Vanish on block while grounded. Vanish has many uses in this game, but it's most useful when used on block because it's plus, meaning it's still your turn. But you want to be careful using this anywhere. If it's blocked in mid-air, you lose your advantage, meaning you lose your turn. Well, that about wraps up things for this episode. Keep in mind that a solid neutral game will go a long way. It'll eventually lead up to patience, adaptation, and mind games. And it only gets more fun from there. But until next time, stay hungry, my friends.